got a podcast this morning with a lady that I don't really know, but I do like what she puts out there in the world. So I saw her talk about a potato, and I've loved it. So I asked her to come on the podcast, and because we had a booking cancelled, we can get her really quickly, which is amazing. Would you please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do?
I can. Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you on our official first meeting after the social media incident with the potato. Yeah. My name's Catherine Williams, and I am, with a very croaky voice, I'm so sorry. I am the franchisor of Popcats Music Time Limited, and I run a business that makes me very, very happy most of the time. So that's me in a nutshell professionally. Was a teacher. Left teaching and set up my business without really going into too much depth of what I was doing, how I was going to do it, how I was going to achieve it, but just knew that it was what I wanted to do.
All that. I've got about 700 questions for
Fabulous.
you today. The boiled potato.
Yeah, now a potato to me is the most boring thing in the world until you zhuzh it up a bit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try and do in all my food prep and all my cooking for my family. Mm-hmm. So I think the potato is the one thing on a menu that if it says the word boiled in front of it, I run a mile, because I think there couldn't be anything worse for me than a boiled potato. Mm-hmm. So you take this potato, you peel it, it's on a chopping board, not exciting. However, if you prep it properly, it becomes this most incredible, crispy, delicious roast potato that everyone around the table goes, wow, to. Mm-hmm. And that's the joy from that really boring thing into the incredible thing.
Yeah, interesting.
Potato.
I'm going to go off piste a little bit. I'm sorry, Kay.
He always does it. That's fine by me.
Talk to me about teaching.
Oh, you've just sent the shivers up me.
Yeah.
Teaching.
I struggle with teachers.
Do you?
Yeah. So I struggled with teachers at school.
Okay.
I don't like teachers or being teached.
No.
And it's kind of set me off my whole life that I struggle with it.
Okay.
I actually think it's my attention span.
Okay.
But my little boys both go to school, so I hated primary school and secondary school with a passion.
Right.
I was bullied and didn't really like the teachers and didn't really get on with them, but I couldn't really concentrate with it. But my little boys love school, and it's now changing the way I think about teachers, but I think it's because I've got that adult relationship. Talk to me about your version of teaching.
So my version of teaching was the vocation world of 8 years old, doing role play in your room. Everyone is a child in the classroom, and you just spend your whole day calling the register and thinking that's what teaching's about, having your lovely book corner and all these fantasies in your head that it's going to be amazing. You get to teaching, had no children, no partner, and could give it your absolute all. And those children in that class are your everything, because you can do it.
You did primary?
Did primary, yeah.
What key stage was it?
It was both, really, to be honest. I mainly taught year 6, which are the 10 and 11-year-olds. That's my favourite. And my biggest class ever was 37 with no teaching assistant. Wow. That was my favourite year, because I was just left alone. In the time of teaching where you were left alone. So about 8 years into my journey of being a primary teacher, things changed. And it started to become a lot more scrutiny involved. Ofsted changed. It just became this world of darkness for me. The joy was sucked out of it, and I started to feel like everything I did was under a spotlight. And I know it might sound awful, but to your imagination, but I literally couldn't get off the toilet because all of my insides became a runny mess. And I think if I'd have carried on, I did 7 years like that. I think if I'd have carried on like that, I wouldn't be here now. Yeah. Quite honestly, I would have had a stroke or far worse. So teaching was my absolute joy, and it was my life, and I loved it. And the children in my class, I taught in a deprived area, so those children saw me as their role model and their comfort blanket. And I did Fruity Fridays. I brought in all the good fruit, and I'd give them fruit they'd never seen in their life. And it was giving them those experiences and that nurture that is why I went into teaching. As time went on, though, it became, we're dropping into your class today. We want to see all your books. We want to come and watch you. Even talking about it, it's making me go all goosebumps inside, and not in a good way. It just absolutely strips me of my energy and my joy, even to talk about it now. So that's what my daily life was like. And I was about to have my third child, and I thought, if I don't get out of teaching, this child won't be here. I was just so stressed. Pains in my arms. It was all, now I realise, was inflammation from stress, and my cortisol was just through the roof. So that was my teaching life, which started off as something so joyful and so amazing and became this completely big world of stress to me.
Yeah, I can see.
Which is sad.
That micromanagement piece from Ofsted would be horrendous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I think it takes the joy out of stuff like that.
It does, and the joy of teaching is incredible. And I love hearing teachers now who still love what they do because they've never known any different. So people who are going into it now have never known anything to be any different. But the people who've been in it from when I was, they could feel that change come in, and they knew what it was like before. And I know I've heard people in the government now talking about we're going to give teachers these days to themselves to be at home because we need to keep the retention of teachers is so hard and we need to keep them. But whether that actually happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whether it's just pie in the sky and they're talking about how they want to help teachers, but I don't know if it will ever happen.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
It will.
I went to a pathway meeting with my little boy last night and I never met the teacher yet, which I always found unusual that you don't meet the teacher before you start, but I hadn't met the teacher. It's the first pathway meeting for Jackson. He's in year 3 or 4 now. And she's called Alex, the teacher. She's really nice and quite young. And we have a chat about the gym and stuff like that. Because I'm quite personal quite quickly. I don't let people keep the barriers up too much. And but she said to me, the first things about teaching is what my first 3 things is to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And then second one was to make them have fun, and then the third one was learning. And then we had a good chat about because my little boy is dyslexic,
right?
And he's quite, I'd say, he's definitely got some sort. She's got the technical terms, but he's definitely very emotionally attached in that way. And he sits at the front of the class, and he's got a very small attention span and stuff like that. He's amazing little creative thing. But it was just nice. My opinion of teachers is changing every time I go and meet a new teacher.
Good.
Which is nice.
It is, because I think if you've got people in today's teaching world, they are there and they are fighting to keep themselves there because it's looking for options to exit is what I'm seeing a lot on social media. Yeah. If you've got teachers who are there, who are staying there, they're worth the weight in gold because they are fighting through even all this stress.
I wonder why Ofsted are so hard and why it makes it so difficult. Is it because they want the schools to be more attractive? Why do they do it so hard?
I really don't know, because what they're seeing in a very snapshot view on those 2 days is not the full picture.
It's like getting an MOT, isn't it? You get a car for an MOT, but what it runs like all the time is
they're just not
different.
seeing it. And, anyone can put on a show and be shiny and look amazing, but what are the real things going on in those schools? And so it would be better if they could have in-house where they're just giving a report back and just saying, this has happened. But that is happening all the time, but then Ofsted have to come in as well, which is more pressure, more stress.
How do you cope with stress now?
Exercise.
Yeah.
I find I don't have as much stress. I have quite an even keel on my anxiety now, and I don't really see that coming to the forefront. I think giving up alcohol's helped me with my stress. It seems to have diminished, which I can't actually believe the difference. It's been about 15 months now since I've properly had a drink.
Would you not even have one drink? No,
I would have one. Occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever say I'll never drink. I'd have occasional one. However, I drink it and I don't think that was amazing and worth it.
Yeah.
I don't really. I prefer a cup of ginger tea, if I'm honest, or a really, really good coffee. That's what I spend my money on now, is really good coffee. Yeah. So walking, I love being in the kitchen. I love creating recipes. I absolutely love baking. I've got a Thermomix. That's my new passion.
What's a Thermomix?
It does 20 different functions. So you literally just need a Thermomix in your kitchen. It does everything. So it makes flapjacks. It will do a slow cooker. It will do smoothies. It will do a curry. And I have 2 bowls. So one's for savoury, one's for sweet, because I can't bear them to be even the tiniest sniff of anything savoury if I'm making a flapjack. That just can't happen. So...
Okay, well, you can make that down, please. Get a
they are incredible. They come from Australia, I think, but there is a UK branch here, and it's been probably the best investment I've ever made, because it is an investment, definitely an investment. So being in the kitchen, tunes on, or a good podcast, and I am in my happy place. And routine makes me happy, and it makes me less stressed. So I stick to my routine, and I've been listening recently to making sure your circadian rhythm is in place. So getting up at the same time every day, regardless of weekend or weekday, going out into the daylight and looking at the sky for 10 minutes, and everything gets reset, and then you go about your day. So that's definitely been a good thing that I've started doing.
Why did you start doing that? Any particular reason?
I've listened to a lot of podcasts where they keep mentioning this circadian rhythm, and I thought there's got to be something in it. And the lady that I last heard speaking said she hasn't been ill for at least 8 years since she started this, every day up at the same time and looking out into the sunlight or the natural light into the sky for 10 minutes every morning. So I thought, well, there's got to be something in that, hasn't there?
I think Kay should do this podcast.
No. I've got so many questions.
So, without knowing it, me and Kay definitely do that. I mean, Kay probably does do it knowing, but me and Kay definitely try and stick to that same thing. We're trying to get up at the same time every day. Yeah. I've not set my alarm since I was about, I'd say, 24.
Really?
Yeah.
You just wake up?
Yeah, I'm never late for anything. If anyone knows me, an hour early for everything. But yeah, I've not set my alarm since I was about 24.
Right, okay. I'm not there yet. I wake up probably a minute before my alarm every day, which is 5:55. So I wake up at 5:54. But I still have to have that safety net of an alarm, just in case.
I think if you can get yourself to a space where you don't have an alarm, that shock of an alarm in the morning is just setting your day up for a fail.
Yeah.
I just think having an alarm is just the worst feeling in the world.
It's a horrible sound.
Yeah. I don't even do it when I'm going off on holiday or anything. I don't need to. I just know that I have to get up and wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's just a superpower, I think. But yeah, it is something massively about routine and sleep and stuff. My sleep's been shocking recently, and I mean the worst it's ever been. And I got one of these Garmin's about a week ago, and it's got I hate wearing like jewelry and stuff at night, and I just take everything off when I go to sleep. But this watch is so light, you can't, even though it's massive, you can't feel it on your wrist, which is nice. So I've been keeping it on, and I've slept for a full week with it on, and my sleep's got better.
Good.
Yeah, so I put my phone, well, Kay's a bit more of a freak. She puts her phones in her bedroom. I can't do that. So I put my phone under my bed now.
Do you?
Yeah, and being able to tell the time when you wake up. So I just touch the watch, and it puts it up very lightly, and I managed to drop back off again.
Brilliant.
And then not checking my notifications or getting up, and then going for a wee and keeping the lights off, and then getting back in bed. And
lights off.
And it's working so much better.
Brilliant.
It's mad, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
It's just the little things in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're trying to be a successful business owner and you're trying to take over the world, it's the maddest how it's the little things.
Yeah, sleep. Well, it is.
Your diet, your alcohol.
Absolutely.
Who you surround yourself by.
Yeah. Oh,
sleep.
Your tribe is so important. And sleeping in the pitch black with no sound.
Talk about your tribe.
My tribe. I have my tribe that work around me.
Yeah.
And I have my very, very good tribe of friends who are trust of my life, which I think as you get older, you are very choosy about your tribe.
Yeah, you are.
And you can say, no, you're not in my tribe. I have to not have you. And I know that's okay. As again, listening to podcasts, I know this is the language it's out there. They're not your tribe. You have to get rid of them and not feel guilty about that because they're just not for you. Life is too short to have people around you who are not singing from the same hymn sheet, for want of a better phrase, because that sounds a bit cheesy. But it's about finding those people who align with your values, align with your focus, and who really mirror your behaviours. So they're not drama queens. They're not here to bitch about people. They're not here to drain you. They're here to big you up. You're there to big them up and just to be your cheerleaders together.
You are like my new best friend. She just needs to start knocking around me and you.
I think she's just replaced me, to be fair.
I'd love to. I love this place.
I feel like me and you just start going out or something. Like, it's the best. Oh my God, you sound like me.
Oh, well.
I love that. We need to get to know you a bit more better now, right? So, how old are you now?
48.
48.
Knocking on a bit now, Ryan.
You're smashing it. You're just getting warmed up. Whereabouts? You always lived in the Wirral, have you?
I live on the Wirral, yeah.
Have you always lived there?
Yes, always.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is it a big family, small family? What's it like back home?
Family-wise, they've all stayed. My only sister, has gone to Didsbury, so she's dished us off for...
Didsbury's a nice place, isn't it?
She loves Didsbury.
Yeah, I bet she likes a Rudy's pizza, doesn't she?
She loves... The life in Didsbury is very social.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I put a franchise there knowing what Didsbury's like, and it's absolutely flown. Yeah. So it's the social life, and it's the way that Didsbury is bit Heswelly on the Wirral, Heswelly, if that's a word. So she's Didsbury, and the rest of us have stayed Wirral. I've got a very big family, big Catholic family, so it's big. Loads of cousins.
Right, come on, let's talk about your mum and dad. They meet in the Wirral? Are they both from the Wirral?
Yes, both from the Wirral. Dad's from the Woodchurch, and my mum's from Birkenhead. So they got together at 20 and 21.
Are they teachers by any chance?
No.
Are they
no
not
teachers? No.
Why? So how did you? That's funny.
Just been my passion from...
That's weird. What do your mum and dad do?
Tiny. Mum was a nurse, or still is. Well, she's not. She doesn't work now. My dad was in the bank. Right. So it couldn't be more different, really.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Very different.
Yeah.
My mum was always working nights in a nursing home.
Oh, no.
An amazing carer, though, who has always been genuine, even though on like £2 an hour, really poorly paid, did it for the love of the job and for the older residents. I've always had a lot of respect and looked after their dignity, whereas some people that she worked with were not like that. So she has always been the one who's gone, leave the room, can't behave like that. They are a person, you can't be in this room, and has always fought for them. Fought for the dignity of these older people. So my mum's amazing and will always put everyone before herself.
Love that.
Dad's a quiet man, but a very, very caring man. And all he had to say to you growing up was, I'm disappointed. And that was worse than anything. My mum, quite a shouter. My dad, very quiet. But if he's disappointed, you know you're done for.
He's the
and squashed.
I'd rather be shouted at than
so would I.
Yeah.
Great role models. Live 3 minutes down the road and still together. 50 years of marriage they celebrated last year.
Smashing it.
And they're fabulous.
Love that.
They're great, and they're there whenever you need them. Great.
So did you grow up and love school and all that sort of stuff?
Did love school, love school, but always was bullied for being the swot, the trier, the tall girl.
You're not a geek, are you?
Well, I had to work hard. I was in a comprehensive school, and it wasn't. I haven't had things handed to me, and I've had to work blooming hard for it. So I think when you work like that, especially in the time when I went to school, it was frowned upon.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it, when it's like that? I went to a pretty rough school, and anyone who was at any sort of like intelligence level just got bullied.
Yeah, and then being tall girl.
Yeah.
Bullied.
Jen was bullied for being tall at school.
I think, but I've got my youngest daughter is very small, and again, I don't think it matters what you're doing, how you look, what you're doing. There will always be something that someone finds.
Oh yeah, I was fat. I just got battered for being fat all the time. Yeah, I was just fat. I'm still fat.
Sorry for laughing. That's really bad.
Oh no, I just got called fat all the time. Sorry. I hated school. It's horrible. What are you laughing at? Just because you're fat now.
Oh.
I'm just trying to think of Fat Ryan.
I was so fat. I hated school. But yeah, interesting. So you love school. So do you reckon that was the making of your teacher bit? What
I had fabulous teachers, especially in secondary. I had fantastic teachers. The drama teachers, because I've always loved drama, really inspired me. And there were a couple of teachers in school who made things click, like the language of grammar and how to understand how to write things. I think one teacher in particular, and you just don't really realise how good these people are until you are a teacher yourself and you're trying to help people to make things click. And when it clicks with them, that's your joy of teaching, because they've got it. And you've given them that as a gift. And there's things that you never forget.
In the teaching world, do other teachers know when another teacher's shit?
Yes,
do they
100%.
all talk about it and go, God, they're hard work? Or
you just know.
You just know.
You just know, yeah.
It's interesting. The only click that I got was the window when I was climbing out of it in English. Mr. Walmsley, he was horrendous. But I had dyslexia, and he just didn't get onto it at all, I don't think.
See, that is poor.
Yeah, he was just
It's
horrible.
a failure on your part. It's sad.
Yeah, he's horrible. He's a wispy, skinny, horrible man, and he was just horrible.
But you won't forget him, will you?
Nah.
And that's for the wrong reasons, which I think if anybody remembered me for that reason, for being a teacher, it would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, horrible.
It is horrible.
Yeah, I don't remember. Surprisingly, I was in set 2 for maths, and I actually liked that teacher, but she was horrible to everyone else. But I think it's just because I was a bit of a tearaway. She liked me.
Yeah, well, you do. You have your little soft spot for the ones who
need
you.
Everyone was quite intelligent because I was in set 2, but I was just managed to get in it. I don't know how. I must have cheated on an exam or something, but yeah. So that, do you think that's where it was knitted from, that love from your teachers?
Yeah, I think so. And they had a lot of time for you, the ones who did.
Yeah,
and
good, that,
it meant a lot. The ones that didn't, you do remember them for the wrong reasons. So
It's nice that's knitted that from that, though, isn't it? So it's like a born passion just from a child. It's nice.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I never wanted to do anything different at all.
Nice.
Never.
I bet there's not a lot of people out there. Do you know what I mean? You speak to some people and they haven't got a clue what they want to do, but it's nice that it's knitted from such a young age.
Yeah, and I think now there are so many choices out there with social media and what to choose. My kids haven't got a clue.
You can earn £1 million, online now.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't have to work. You just have an Instagram account.
Yeah, the world is very, very different. And I think having too much choice is not actually a good thing either. Because
the ability to work hard and stick at something, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
People's view, you interview a 19-year-old now and their view of what hard work is and sticking at something. Even relationships. I was just talking about going on Hinge myself this morning, and it's like, how hard do you have to work at something to get good at it and turn it into something amazing?
Yeah.
And I think the viewpoint on that has changed so much.
Yeah. Well, you look at Love Island or Married at First Sight, which we were talking about earlier. They can go on television and have their 5 minutes of fame and then have, contracts that will last them for a long time, earning thousands and thousands of pounds. And what have they done?
Nothing.
They've gone on television, and then that's what kids are looking up to.
Mad, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get back onto your track of life. So we're at school, we've enjoyed school, we leave school, go to college and uni.
Went to West Hill in Birmingham.
Oh, nice.
Did 4 years because I did a BA degree in humanities and then did a PGCE.
Oh, nice.
Which was very fast paced, throw you in at the deep end, you could either sink or swim.
Did you go into some schools in Birmingham,
Yes,
you?
I did, yeah.
But that was interesting.
It was interesting. They never understood when I was saying our, as in our family, or you are going to the beach, because they said our. So they couldn't understand what I was saying in that respect, and it was very different to what I've been used to.
Did you go in some of the inner city schools? Were they
Yeah.
Tough ones.
Tough,
yeah. I bet.
But brilliant. And the best person I had to work with was a deputy head. She wouldn't give me one book. She wouldn't give me one bit of help. She went, "You either sink or swim on this. I'm giving you nothing." And she was hard going.
They're the best people.
But you know what? I learnt more on that teaching practice than I did on the one going, "Would you like all my stuff?" Because I had to just get on with it. And she was very critical. She said to me, "No, that was rubbish. You can't, that lesson's not okay." It was a science lesson. Never forget it, on chemistry. And I did it again. And she said, "That was 100 times better." And again, I learnt more on that than I did on any other teaching practice, because she was cruel to me. And it helped me to think.
See, next time we're training someone, Kay, and you want to go through the whole thing, and I just say, "No, just leave them to it. Remember this." Fucking fuming. Just let people sink or swim in it.
Don't hold everyone's hand, because you're not doing them any favours. I've learned that as well, being a franchisor. You've got to let people find their own way and find out what their drive is. And if you hold their hand the whole way, it makes it more difficult, because at some stage the hand's got to be taken away and then they can flounder. So you're better off leaving them to find their own way of dealing with things.
It's true. Loved uni?
Loved uni. However, I wasn't your typical student.
All right.
I've never been a real going out till 5 a.m. kind of person. I've always struggled with the drinking a lot, because I've always been worried about the outcome of these things. So I lived with one person at uni, which was my friend Liz, and we tended to just live in a house with two, which I think is quite unusual at uni. Usually it's big crowds going out all the time drinking. We had a massive poster of Peter Andre on our lounge wall, which is probably the size of that Tezlom poster there, and went to Peter Andre together. Loved it. I don't think now would be the same joy of that.
No.
But it was all about study, and we were really conscientious students, which again, I don't think that's quite how uni life is perceived, but we worked hard.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? Have you been into sports along the way or not? What did you do to downtime?
Absolutely no sports. I'm so uncoordinated, it's unbelievable, but I can lift weights because I know I'm all right there at home in my own gym. So no sports. Downtime, always been quite musical, so played the clarinet, like being part of a choir, like belonging to things and being part of something where you feel valued, but never really been one to follow the crowd. Just tend to stick to what I like and what I know.
I like that. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the drama thing, did you do some acting, did you? Or did you do some stages? Or
part of my degree was theatre studies, so I was in some different things like King Lear and different plays. I've always been passionate about musicals. Favourite's Les Mis. I could see that.
Have you done it?
I haven't done it, but I could go and see that every weekend for the rest of my life. I just love Les Mis.
I did acting for 10 years.
Did you?
Yeah. Been in loads of plays and did makeup and stage design.
Oh, wow.
And costume.
Exciting.
I
Would never have known that.
I know. Everyone says that.
I love that.
I know. Mega that, innit?
Yeah. I love the acting world, and I'm so in awe of people like Jodie Comer, who did the one-woman play, Prima Facie. Have you seen it?
No.
Wow. She's on that stage for an hour and a half, and there is no break. And she plays all the different characters. It's on at the cinema instead, because it was on in London and it sold out over the 8-week show time. She is incredible. Such a hard-working, amazing person. But yeah, I highly advise that. Amazing.
I'll have to watch it. So, finished uni, flying colours.
Yes.
Smashed it, obviously. And then you went and did you find your first placement?
Yes. Now, my first job was a 0.6 role, so I didn't work full time, which I was quite surprised about, but I just went with it. It was a lovely school in Babington, and I taught maths and English only in years 4 and 5. Right. So I had the top of one subject and the bottom of another. Worked with those children in the mornings because it was a 0.6, so every morning meant it was 0.6 for the week. Yeah. And then I went and did supply all over the world for my afternoons, because I thought I'm making the most of this. So I'd get in my car, I got 2 speeding tickets because I had to get to the school and be ready to teach for 1 o'clock, and I'd finish my work at 12. So run around.
But the agency loved sending you about everywhere.
They did.
Yeah, but
and no family, no ties, so could go wherever. Had no problem.
Do you know, I used to have an education recruitment agency. That's what I used to do. That's how I started. Okay. Supplying teachers, that's it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right, so I was with Hayes, the agency.
I was a competitor. So we did mainly like Manchester, Liverpool, Lancashire, that's why.
Right, okay.
Manchester and Bolton, my biggest areas.
Right.
That was 10 years ago.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
12
years time
ago. That's when I was doing it.
Well, I loved supply because you were seeing so many different children, but so many different classrooms, and plans were left out, or sometimes no plans were left out, and you had the afternoon show. So I'd leave the room of a teacher saying to me, "You've got 7 children now on Ritalin," and it was a wet day in a hut outside in the rubbish areas, in the rubbish classrooms, and you're like, "Off you go, bye, enjoy." So they were my challenges, but they were my first year of teaching, and I learned so much because you're thrown in at the deep end.
That would have made you a beast.
Yeah, it was. I was a beast.
So I think at the time, about between 10 and 20 NQTs.
Right, okay.
I was one of the only agencies at the time that could go to Edge Hill and recruit NQTs. So I had NQTs on my books, and I used to get them all. So I hated school. Yeah. And I went into it because my auntie was running one of the biggest recruitment agencies in Preston, and she went onto business on her own, and I joined her. And that's how I started in franchising. So I opened this agency with her, and she taught me everything about recruitment in education, and I knew about sales and business development, creating relationships. So I got some of the NQTs to create lesson plans, primary lesson plans, and then we created a blog, and they shared the lesson plans on the blog, so that if they ever turned up somewhere, they could just download it.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, we ended up with 25,000 followers on Twitter.
That's amazing.
And all the teachers used to just share each other's work. And
what was that called?
Education Appointments is a long time ago. Was it based in Leyland? Okay. And my auntie actually sold out to Key Stage at the end. And then we started doing it that much. We had teachers from like Australia, America, all over the world putting lesson plans in.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
I love that.
I knew nothing about any of that stuff.
No.
Mad. I was blown away by it all.
Brilliant. Yeah, but people love a good resource.
Yeah.
And when you teach, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? Let's use what other people have got and
doing all sorts.
Use it.
All sorts of
amazing.
So yeah, that was my introduction back into education. Loving about that. So yeah, I love the fact that how. What was the girl's name? There was Danielle Devine was my first teacher placed in a high school. She's still teaching. What was the other girl's name? She had long blonde hair. Anyway, she was from Wigan, and she ended up being a cluster of primary school teachers in Wigan, and she just got fully booked every single week by the same cluster of primary schools all the time. Yeah. And then she ended up getting a job there, and she was my first placement. I forgot her bloody name. That's terrible. But yeah, no, it was interesting learning all about that side of the world. Yeah,
yes, it's and you do have a bad reputation, supply teaching, so you go in and they think you're never going to mark anything and you won't be able to hold the class. But you do mark everything and you can hold the class, and then you get asked back, which is what makes it.
Yeah, that's what makes it.
The world that it's a success, because you do get a bad press, supply teachers.
Yeah. Interesting. So we got our first job. That's all going well. How long was it until we kind of got sick of it and we parted ways?
So I went and then got a full-time job within that year. And I did, I think, 8 years. Really happy, working hard.
Is this where you started forging a family and met the husband and all?
Yeah, so I met my husband when I was 1 year in. And we had 2 children and never really looked back. So that was meant to be, and well, when I say it's been great, it's obviously marriage is hard work, but it has on the whole been great. I can't really say how many times we've ever had a fight. I know that sounds really crazy, but that's just not us. We just live in a really happy house.
Chilled
Sounds
vibe.
so cheesy, but we've got happy kids. We don't shout around. It's calm. And it's a happy house, and I think...
Well, I've not met your husband yet, because I'm meeting him, but everything's fine. Yeah.
We have...
Anything the captain says.
Well, he doesn't drink either, so he obviously doesn't need the substance. But no, we have a happy house.
I'm just gonna have this water.
No, it's not fake, honestly. No, we have a happy house, because I think if you can possibly give your kids that, where you're not slamming doors every 2 minutes, then you've given them a happy time.
What's your husband do? Good job.
Well, he did run a company called Sisra, which was, now I'm probably going to explain this incorrectly, data analysis for secondary schools and primary schools, GCSEs and A-levels mainly. He sold that business in 2020. So since then, he's got into property and he's very, very into horses. So we've owned a few horses in our time, horse racing. So he's...
The kids into them as well?
Kids?
No.
No, not really. No. It's always been his passion. And then I had a horse, which he gifted me for a present once. So we've always loved going to the races together. Stopped that for a bit because while the kids are growing up, it's quite hard to go to races as an owner because you can't really... They've got school runs and clubs and all kinds going on. And now potentially getting back into it again. So yeah, at the moment, that's where he's at. But he's always been very into data. He's a very data man. I am very opposite of that.
Yeah, me too.
He's a spreadsheet man. I am a creative person who, you sit me down in front of a spreadsheet and I go very, very cold very quickly.
Yeah,
it's just not me.
Yeah, same.
Some people thrive on figures. I'm like, oh.
My mum's the same. She loves a good spreadsheet. I'm like,
Does she?
She's boring.
I mean, they have their purpose. And
to listen to me, download ChatGTP on your phone, get the Pro, and I just, anything that I think's shite now, I just put it in that. I even get the PDF, put it in the plus box, put it and say, please bullet point this for me. The best thing that's ever happened to me.
Right.
Honestly, I do it all the time. Franchise agreement, bullet point this franchise agreement for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it the other day. I got a document for something else the other day. I just put it in and went, do me a favour, bullet point this for me. And he just bullet points. It's a fucking, honestly, it's a dream.
Wow, never heard of such things.
Honest, it's changed my life. You get really cryptic text messages and emails, just go, reply to this positively, and boom, it does it back. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Okay.
Best thing that's ever happened.
Fab.
Okay, so then, had enough of school, stressed out your mind.
Yeah.
You just quit?
I did. I handed my notice in. I was just about to have my third child. And I left quite quickly. But I wasn't really done with it yet. Mm-hmm. So I then did some supply all over the place, which was great actually, because I only took day-to-day supply. I did not take anything on long-term. I refused it because I didn't want to get drawn in. Yeah. I did then take on a placement, which ended up being in one school. I left because it was just becoming too much work. And then I went and did 1 day a week in a school, but then was getting asked to go and do the performance management and be on the management team. And I thought, no, I don't want to get drawn into this. So I eventually stopped supply altogether because that was becoming a stress.
Well, having 3 kids is dead easy, isn't it? So
it's amazing.
That was a piece of piss anyway. It wouldn't matter, would it?
Third child is definitely enough to send you over the edge. 2, one in each hand, okay. A third one.
Oh my God. Pass me the wine.
And now they're all teenagers, 3 teenage girls. So,
oh, wow. Yeah. 3 teenage girls.
Yeah. So
amazing.
It's a different kind of stress to babies, but give me babies any day.
You just talk through Snapchat now. You don't talk for anything else. Just phone calls and videos on Snapchat all night.
So it's different. A different stress.
And then how did it start? Come on, talk about franching. Come on, talk.
Okay, so I did supply alongside starting my business. I had my business idea for 3 years, and then I was on holiday. I think we were in Cornwall, walking along a cobbled street, and I said to my husband, at the end of this 6-week holiday, because it was the summer holidays, I'm going to start Popcats. And I don't care how I do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. So we started with a very small input of money. And I got home from that holiday, rang round community centres galore, and managed to secure myself enough for 10 slots a week of doing the classes. Went to the local Tesco that sold every instrument you could possibly need, had my idea for instrument bags, toys, devised the class, which is, in case anyone hasn't heard of it, which I'm sure are many people, music and movement for under fives. Wrote the class, and then I just got myself out there, and literally there was Facebook then. Instagram didn't feel as if it was that big, or whether I was living under a rock, I'm not sure. But I used Facebook, I just advertised the classes, and I just got going. And people said to me, oh, the library does this for free, it won't work. I said, it will work, it's going to work, because I'm doing it. That was just my answer. And what if it doesn't work? It will work, it's going to work, I'm doing it. And I started my first class, I just put it on Facebook. No one booked into Popcats, and no one still books into Popcats. They literally turn up at the door, that's how we roll, that's our USP. And 3 people turned up at that very first class. One still goes now, 10 years later, with a second child. Still goes. I have grandparents who have on their 4th child going, people who are on their 3rd child going. And I just started it then. By the Christmas, I was so busy. So that whole first term, people trickled in, word of mouth got out. I did one baby sale event, got the word out in an affluent area of Wirral, and then it sort of went boom. No one then was really doing pay-as-you-go. No one. It was quite the new kid on the block. And then you could see people starting to think, this pay-as-you-go thing's working for Popcats. So changing what they were doing, which was fine. We've always stuck with pay-as-you-go. And it's been, for me, one of the best things we've done. When my 3 were little, we could not afford 10-week blocks of classes. It just wasn't happening. We literally had £1 and another £1 to rub together if we were lucky. Yeah. So turning up at a class and throwing your £5 in a bowl has been great for parents and carers, and also from an admin point of view there isn't any, because literally people turn up, there's no booking system, so it's a win-win. So I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there.
No, that's nice. I love that. Do you think that's where your entrepreneurial spirit was just born then, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
I've seen it in your face. You just started talking about it.
Had no experience of business at all. Yeah. Not a clue. When I franchised it, I found a franchise solicitor and said, look, I want to do this. He said, go for it. And he wrote the franchise agreement for me. Not really understanding what really people would need. Didn't know about ICO. Never heard of ICO. No one tells you these things. No. And he said in the agreement, you've got to have everybody registered with the ICO. So, well, I haven't even been registered with them myself. No. Maybe cut that bit out.
That's fine.
That's a big fine.
But that's part of the whole learning process of reality, isn't it?
Had no clue. The phrase winging it is absolutely 100% true. And I defy anyone who says I don't wing it. I would say they're completely lying.
But the bit was when you just said before, you said it before, is that I'm going to make it work, I'm doing it. And
absolutely.
That's where your spirit came from,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
And that has been me in all my business decisions. It's working, I'm doing it. And people go, you're so brave. Like, yeah, but life's too short to just go, oh no, it's not for me, I can't do it, it won't work. Because you're going to turn around at 80 and go, why didn't I do it? Someone else has done it, I should have done it. And that's what Jodie Comer said in her interview about Prima Facie. If I don't say yes to this really difficult role, some other actress is going to say yes. And I'm going to turn around and go, why didn't I do it? So these opportunities are here. We've got to take them, because before you know it, you'll be 85 and it's too late, sadly. So you've got to do it. So Popcats was really, really successful. I was getting to the 16th month mark, and I knew I didn't want employees. I knew I was either going to have to get someone else involved with a franchise idea, or it was going to be a victim of its own success, because it really was that popular. The classes were so busy because people knew they could just turn up. So I went to a BFA awareness day, British Franchise Association awareness day of how to franchise, and I ran a mile. It was men in suits, filled the room. I was a tiny, tiny, tiny tadpole. This woman who had this music and movement business wanted to franchise it, and I ran a mile and thought the BFA is just all men in suits. So I thought, I'm just going to go and sort it myself. So I went and saw a franchise solicitor, franchised it, someone approached me and said, can I be a partner prior to this? And I said, no, I'm not having a partner. I'm having a franchisee. And I sold my first franchise in June 2016, and I'd started it in the September 2014. Amazing. So it was less than 2 years. And then I sold 4 franchises very quickly, which I'm sure is really common, where you sell the surrounding areas quickly, because I just sell a postcode as a franchise territory. So on the Wirral, there are 5 people. And from that point on, it's really organically grown as a business. When we got to COVID, there were 8 franchisees. And then the year after COVID, obviously we all had a bit of a pause because there were no community classes allowed. Boris put a stop to that. It was very, very difficult. We did have to go online and put a booking system in. That was horrendous because of the stress, and we weren't used to that. And it was finding the business, getting risk assessments done. COVID was very, very difficult, but that's a whole other world of stress that I would never want to relive again. From being a community business, that was so hard because online classes aren't the same for parents. And those COVID babies really suffered from that time of not being able to be in the community. And now they're going to school and the social skills have really been impacted. So I went from having 7, 8 franchisees pre-COVID to then having 14 the year after in 2022. Amazing. Suddenly these people were coming at me left, right and centre. I was training galore because I do all the training myself. And then I now to date have 21 franchisees. So last year and the year before were mega. It just went mad. It went mad and went bam. And it's just been a business that has, for me, organically grown from people who go to the classes and see them. One lady who's in Didsbury went to one party of a child and went, I want to do this. And then a few weeks later, she was doing it. So it's just been something that's grown from people loving what they see and not necessarily from what they see on a website selling the franchise on there. It's been a what you see and then thinking, I want to do this too. So I think that was an amalgamation of 5,000 answers of a lot of questions, but there you go. It's just grown into that answer.
There's a couple of questions I've got asked, but some of the things you've said about how some of the, I guess, the quotes or whatever you've said, are they things you've had to teach yourself and go through by learning to be an entrepreneur and a business owner and a franchisor? Are them sort of things you've had to kind of go through and cope with? Or did you kind of know that stuff before? Or have you been kind of how have you? Because I'll give an example of so listen to the podcasts, or I do training every day because I need to look after my well-being because I get too stressed and I feel the stress in my body. So I'll go and exercise or go and run to forgive people. Actually, I'll go and run to forgive people for the way they treat me, or I'll do things like that, or I'll eat correctly, or not drink, or do all them sort of things. Yeah. But I did it because I have to, because of my role in the business and my life to cope. Are you going to say, is that the same thing that's kind of happened to you? You kind of learnt your way through it? Absolutely, and I've had to do a lot of learning along the way to survive, to be honest, because being a business owner and going from the class leader as a solo entrepreneur, a sole trader, to then be limited, to then be a franchisor, to then, it's like being thrown into being a head teacher when you've only ever been a teacher. It's a completely different role where you have to have a suit of armour on, because what you've got to learn to do is not to take things personally, or you can destroy you in a second. So from learning, I think the world of podcasts now are just incredible for you to have constantly in your ear. I never have the radio on now. I have podcasts on because I want to learn constantly from other people's experiences. I'm currently doing a course called The Olive Jar, which Jane James recommended to me, who owns Little Voices. Jane James is my absolute guru in life. But The Olive Jar has helped me to understand how not to project your negative thoughts onto other people, and also not to let their negative thoughts really go into your body and stay there. You've got to let them go and bounce them off you like a shield, because otherwise you're just absolutely drained and you're heavy. You feel heavy because of the stresses of other people. You have to learn to know that that's about them, not about you. Very difficult, not an easy journey to be on, but I'm getting much, much better at that. And these life skills that you can pick up from other people, you have to learn to open yourself up to being like an empty encyclopedia, if you like, and you have to let things in. When I first started off as a leader, I think I was very much, it's my way, I'm right, I'm always right because I am the leader. Now I'm learning to go, right, well, you've got an idea, let me hear it.
okay, that sounds good. Let's take that on board and change your business in a way to let it evolve with the way society is and the way the world is. So learning to change your mindset, not be the one who's always got to be right. Good leaders are people who can take ideas and let them come into the business and not be the one who's just the no person. And I'm learning that pretty much every day, because as your team grows, there are more people and you have to learn to adapt. Otherwise, it's exhausting. I think that was, again, many answers in one question.
She needs a good podcast, this guy.
You are amazing.
Thanks. I love this podcast. It's so good.
Thanks, I'm glad.
What do you think about the BFA now?
I absolutely love the BFA now because, again, Jane invited me to the leadership day and I was apparently the only non-member there, and I didn't realise this. But they actually came over, Pip and James came to speak to me, and I found that I don't think that will ever leave me. They actually took time to come to speak to me and say, you're the only non-member here, and we're really welcoming you. They'd emailed me before and I'd not even opened the emails because I'd seen the words BFA, and I thought, no, it's not for me, it's men in suits, I'm not interested, it's too expensive, whatever thoughts were in my head and whatever barriers were in my head. And then after speaking to James and Pip, I realised what was I doing, and why was I closing this door to such an amazing organisation? What was I doing? I couldn't really see the reason why I should not join in the end. So I have found the whole experience of being onboarded so positive. I was afraid of the scrutiny, to be quite honest, but it's been fabulous. Everybody involved, I think the word nice is really weak, but I do think, for want of a better word, they are all so nice, so welcoming, understanding, and they're all very human. And the chats on the Zooms are just really, they just put you at ease because your business is valued. And I think teaching destroys your self-esteem and it makes you feel like you're rubbish at everything. That's what it does. And I don't think that will ever leave me, including franchising. So you think that whatever you're doing, it's not good enough, someone's going to find me out, they're going to think I'm rubbish. And when you've got to hand over your agreement to the BFA and you've got to get a survey out to all the franchisees, the satisfaction survey came back like 99% positive. So they were blown away by that. And even saying that sentence, you think, oh, should I even say this? But the positive response from the franchisees, it made me go, well, what I'm doing is right. And they're all happy. They feel valued. They feel like the structure of the business is great. The business in itself is great. And they are having a happy life because of something that I've created. And the BFA opened my eyes up to that more than I'd had before, really, because it's made me face it. So it's very positive so far.
Yeah, I joined the BFA about 3 years ago. It was the best thing we did.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, just meeting people and getting to share the journey with different
absolutely.
people.
You become very insular as a franchisor, I think, business owner, because for one, you don't think you've got time to meet other people, but it's the most important thing you can do. I have turned down so many things in the last 2 years, this year, because I've been so engrossed in these extra 14 people coming on board in the business, and I've thought, no, I've not got time. But it's so important that you do have time. Going to EWIB recently was an amazing day, meeting all those amazing women.
It's working on you, that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Some days it's working on the business, some days it's working on you.
Yeah.
Today's working on you, isn't it? It's about working on you.
Yeah, it sure is. And it's great to just get on the road and come to Southport and see a whole new business with such a relaxing and just a joyous vibe. It's amazing. All the rooms you've got and all the, you haven't got rooms with just windows. You've got artwork and amazing photography everywhere with these fabulous images. It's just brilliant. I love it.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Thanks. Take me. I
know, it's amazing. Oh, just press the button on here. Has it done anything? No, my final piece is just to say, like, I find it. How do I put this? I love your energy. I love what you're about. I think you're going to smash it.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you at some awards in a few years.
Thank you.
I think you, like the way you come across and the way you articulate and the way you just carry on. Don't change. Just carry on doing it. Keep smashing it. You're doing such an amazing job. I say it all the time when I meet people, is that the franchise industry needs people like you.
Oh, thank you.
The UK franchise industry needs people like you. Got a good heart, good moral compass, got the right attitude, going about things the right way.
And just from you saying that, thank you very much. I think you can come into it thinking, I need to be harder. I need to be not quite so kind, giving, but actually, no, it shouldn't change that in you.
No.
It's quite emotional. Because that is you.
Yeah, it's nice. Last question.
Okay.
All right. Last question. It's a bit of a silly one. What's harder, being a teacher or being a business owner?
Oh, gosh. Both have their huge stresses, but give me being a business owner any day of the week, 10 times over, 100 times over, because you have the power to change people's lives in a way that you don't have in teaching, because in teaching you are like a puppet on a string, and your strings are being pulled all over the place, and that can determine how much energy you've got. As a business owner, you are the one who's got the strings of those other people, and you are the one who can make their lives incredible. So that's what, for me, give me being a business owner any day, because you have the power to change people's lives. You're the one at the top of the tree, but you're really the one who's got all those branches growing out of you from these people, and you're going to make those branches flourish. And that's what being a business owner is.
Love that. So. You are the epitome of an entrepreneurial mum, just smashing it. I love that.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks
you so
Ryan.
much. Thanks for having me.
It's done.
A joy.
Sick podcast that.
Oh my God, so emotional.